This is the dish that I make for people who swear they don't like fish. One of the things I like about the new dietary guidelines is there is an emphasis on seafood, eating more seafood. And I've talked about this for years. We've got to consume more seafood. When it comes to eating more seafood, people are apprehensive about how to cook it and what to cook. This is a wonderful, quick and easy weeknight meal, snack, weekends, you name it, whatever it is, where we take salmon and we basically cook it down like candy. And you get these beautiful, sweet and meltingly tender candy salmon bites in less than 5-7 minutes maybe. But I'm gonna show you the trick that you gotta use in order to make sure that your sauce, which we're gonna use a little bit of tamari, we're gonna use some rice vinegar, we're gonna use some honey, sticks to the salmon and doesn't just run off of it. I've got a side of salmon here, or a half a side of salmon, roughly a pound and a half. Now, typically what people say when they make this dish is that you wanna slice this into huge chunks and then toss it up in your marinade or your sauce and then bake it in the oven. But what happens is, because the salmon is made up of mostly fat, and the sauce is made up of mostly water, the water-based sauce runs off the salmon and then it just burns onto the bottom of the pan. So I'm gonna show you how you're gonna make it so that the actual sauce, the best part of this, the showstopper, sticks to the salmon so that when we bake it, it caramelizes to the exterior. And when it comes out of the oven, it's over the top. So the first thing we're going to do is actually make our glaze by reducing it down. That's gonna increase the sugar content and add more viscosity to the glaze so that when we toss it with the salmon, it actually sticks to the salmon. I'm gonna use a simple recipe here. I'm gonna do roughly 2 parts tamari, which is just gluten-free soy sauce, which is a higher quality soy sauce. So 2 tablespoons of tamari. I'm gonna do 2 tablespoons of rice vinegar. I love rice vinegar. Then I'm going to do maybe 1 tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce, and I'm gonna finish it out with a whole bunch of honey. This honey is what's going to bring the sauce together. So I start this in a cold pan, a couple tablespoons of honey, no big deal. Start this in a cold pan, and I'm just gonna throw it over onto the stove and let it simmer until it gets nice and sticky. Low heat, that should take about 5 minutes. Stir it up with a wooden spoon. Now, while my sauce is reducing, I'm just gonna cut my salmon into large bite-sized pieces, and then I'm gonna throw them in a bowl. Now, I will lightly salt this while it sits for a minute, just so that that salt starts to work into the salmon. Just give that a gentle toss, right? That salt's gonna start to kind of dry brine the salmon just for a couple minutes. Okay, so if you look, this has really become a glaze. Now, I haven't brought this down to a full nappe yet, but you can see that it's become thicker than the viscosity of water. I'm gonna pour it into a bowl right now just to let it cool down, because I don't wanna add it hot directly into my salmon. The reason why I didn't take this down to a full nappe or glaze-like consistency is because it is going to continue cooking in the oven. So we still want to be able to have another 20% of cook time for it to stick to the salmon. Now I'm going to save a little bit of this and mount it with butter as a sauce at the end to finish on the salmon. So we're just gonna let this cool down for a second. You can even throw it in the refrigerator. Then I'm gonna toss it into the salmon and let it sit for about 2 or 3 minutes. Then we're gonna put it on a sheet pan lined with a wire rack, and we're gonna bake the salmon. So we had a little mishap. I realized in the break here that I didn't have any butter. I know we've done a video showing you how to make butter from heavy cream, but I had to do it on the fly here in the kitchen. If you wanna watch that video of how to make butter from heavy cream, click on the link here, there's a link. Follow the link. Here's my butter. Now, because I'm gonna use this, that's my buttermilk right there. Here's my butter. Somebody made the point that it's still cheaper to buy high quality butter than it is to buy the heavy cream, the quality heavy cream, and make your own butter. I mean, fair point, and that's true, but I still think it's important that people understand how food is made. So I always love using this trick and tip with kids. In addition to the fact you don't consider that you also get fresh buttermilk with it. Back to the salmon, butter salmon. I got this glaze, it's all cool now. Okay, I'm gonna add this to my salmon. I'm gonna leave a little bit to finish at the end. And I'm just gonna gently toss this, right? Now we'll take this and we'll lay these on a sheet pan, perfectly spaced apart with about ½ an inch between them. You don't wanna overlap them. I know I didn't cut these evenly, but we're all learning here. And I'm gonna pop these in a 400-degree oven, and we're gonna bake them for roughly 6 to 8 minutes. Ah, beautiful. And there it is, absolutely gorgeous. Now, I took a little bit of that sauce and I just mounted it with butter. I'm just gonna take this at the end here, right? I'm just gonna drizzle a little bit on there, not a lot. I'll do this also on the plate, but just give it that extra touch. Hit it with some chives while it's still hot. I know. Everything's got chives. It's true though. If you wanna go spicy, you can finish this right now with some hot sauce, or you can just hit it with some fresh cracked pepper. You wanna do it right now while it's hot out of the oven. Lauren's gonna be coming home. I'm gonna have some salmon candy ready for her. She's gonna be so happy. I hope so. Look at that, just sweet, beautiful caramelization on the exterior. I mean, that's what I'm talking about right there. You always taste a little bit of citrus zest at the end. Now, that was it, see? That's why we taste before we serve. You see how the sauce is stuck on here? That's what we're looking for. You don't want that sauce to run off. So by cooking it down first and then glazing it onto the salmon, you allow that salmon to really absorb the sauce. Cloaks it perfectly.